Have you ever wondered what your personality type says about you? Imagine a map, not of streets and highways, but of the intricate pathways of your mind. This is what the intriguing world of personality types is all about. The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, or MBTI, is one such map. Each type has its own set of strengths, weaknesses, and unique characteristics. One such fascinating type is the INTJ, known for its strategic mind and high value on intellect. Understanding your personality type isn't about putting yourself in a box, but rather, it's about illuminating the box you're already in, and finding the key to unlock its door. Intrigued? Stick around as we delve into the 9 signs that you might be an INTJ. So, the first sign you might be an INTJ is your love for intellectual stimulation. INTJs are not just interested in knowledge for its sake. They are problem solvers at heart, and they thrive on intellectual challenges. A crossword puzzle, a riddle, a complex mathematical problem? Bring it on! They relish the chance to exercise their minds and test their abilities. Additionally, INTJs have a deep appreciation for complex conversations. They are not interested in small talk or gossip. Rather, they crave discussions that delve into the heart of an issue, turning it over and examining it from every angle. And let's not forget their relentless quest for knowledge. INTJs are always learning, always seeking to understand more about the world around them. They read widely, they question everything, and they are never content with the status quo. If you are constantly seeking intellectual stimulation, you might just be an INTJ. Moving on to the second sign, INTJs are known for being independent and self-confident. This personality type has a strong preference for working alone. They are not easily swayed by peer pressure or societal norms. Rather, they are driven by their own goals and ideas. Independence for an INTJ is not just about physical autonomy, it's about intellectual and emotional independence as well. When it comes to self-confidence, INTJs possess it in abundance. They have a deep trust in their own judgment, often to the point of being stubborn. They trust their intuition, their strategies, and their ability to overcome obstacles. This self-confidence is not derived from an inflated ego, but from a realistic understanding of their own capabilities and potential. This combination of independence and self-confidence makes INTJs formidable problem solvers. They trust their abilities and aren't afraid to take the road less traveled. So if you're someone who values independence and trusts your own judgment, you might be an INTJ. The third sign of being an INTJ is a focus on the future. The mind of an INTJ is a fascinating place, brimming with thoughts, ideas, plans, and strategies. But what's particularly intriguing is where these thoughts are directed, not towards the present, but towards the future. INTJs are forward thinkers, always contemplating what's coming next. They're the ones planning their next move while others are still figuring out the current one. This future focus isn't just about planning and strategizing though. It's about envisioning a world of possibilities, a world that's yet to be, the here and now. It's important, sure. But to an INTJ, it's merely a stepping stone to the future. Their minds are less interested in what is and more excited by what could be. This constant forward thinking might make them seem distant or aloof, but really, they're just busy shaping tomorrow. So, if you're always thinking about tomorrow, you might be an INTJ. The fourth sign, INTJs are not fans of rules and tradition. This might sound rebellious, but it's not about defiance, it's about efficiency and logic. INTJs have a keen eye for seeing the essence of things, the underlying truths. If they see a rule or a tradition that does not serve a practical purpose, they are likely to question it. Let's imagine a situation where there's a long-standing tradition in a company that everyone feels is outdated. An INTJ would not hesitate to challenge this tradition if they believe there's a more efficient way to do things. They value progress and innovation over maintaining the status quo just for the sake of it. INTJs are not the type to follow rules blindly. They need to see the logic and reason behind them. They are always seeking ways to improve processes, and this often involves challenging and reshaping established norms. If you're someone who questions tradition and rules, you might be an INTJ. The fifth sign of an INTJ is placing a high value on honesty. This is not just about telling the truth, but about being transparent and direct in all forms of communication. INTJs don't have time for fluff or subterfuge, they prefer to get straight to the point, to peel back the layers and expose the core of the matter. This personality type carries their honesty into their relationships as well. They are straightforward about their feelings and expectations, and they appreciate the same candor in return. They believe that honesty, even when it's hard, is the foundation of trust and mutual respect. INTJs also apply this principle to themselves. They are constantly self-evaluating, looking to identify their own strengths and weaknesses with brutal honesty. They are their own harshest critics, but also their own best motivators. To an INTJ, honesty is more than a virtue. It's a lifestyle, a tool, a compass guiding their decisions and interactions. So if you're someone who highly values honesty, you might be an INTJ. Moving on to the sixth sign, INTJs are decisive. They are not the ones to dilly-dally when it comes to making decisions. They are quick, efficient, and rather precise in their decision-making process. This doesn't mean they rush into decisions blindly. Oh no, quite the opposite. INTJs thoughtfully weigh all possible outcomes before reaching a conclusion. They deeply analyze the pros and cons, the risks and rewards, and only then do they make their move. They have a knack for cutting through the haze of indecision, often making choices that others might find daunting. Indecisiveness? That's not in an INTJ's vocabulary. They see it as a hurdle to progress, a roadblock to efficiency. And if there's one thing INTJs value, it's efficiency. So, if you find yourself making decisions swiftly and effectively, if you have an inherent dislike for indecisiveness, and if you value efficiency in the decision-making process, then guess what? You might just be an INTJ. If you're decisive and value efficiency in decision-making, you might be an INTJ. The seventh sign of an INTJ personality is perfectionism. It's a trait deeply ingrained in their psyche, a relentless pursuit of the best version of themselves and the world around them. For INTJs, good enough is rarely good enough. They are always seeking ways to improve, to refine, to perfect. An INTJ's perfectionism often extends beyond their own personal endeavors. They hold others to the same high standards. This isn't about being nitpicky or unnecessarily critical, but rather about pushing boundaries, about achieving the best possible outcome. INTJs are not satisfied with mediocrity. They're wired to seek excellence. They see potential for improvement in everything and work tirelessly to realize that potential. They are the architects of their own lives, constantly building, tweaking, and refining their world. Their perfectionism is not a flaw, but a strength. It drives them to achieve, to innovate, to create. If you're always striving for perfection, you might be an INTJ. The eighth sign is that INTJs are private and reserved. A characteristic trait of this personality type is their preference for solitude and introspection. This isn't to say that they're antisocial, quite the contrary. They can be engaging, even charming, but they pick their moments and usually prefer to keep a low profile. INTJs are often seen as reserved because they like to keep their thoughts and feelings to themselves. They're the kind of people who value their privacy and seldom share their personal life indiscriminately. They choose to express themselves when they feel it's relevant and meaningful, rather than for the sake of social convention. This sense of privacy extends to their personal space as well. INTJs place great importance on having a personal sanctuary, somewhere they can retreat to for deep thought and reflection. This need for solitude and privacy doesn't stem from shyness, but rather from a desire for deeper understanding and self-improvement. So, if you're someone who values your privacy and tends to be reserved, you might be an INTJ. Lastly, the ninth sign of an INTJ personality is being strategic and logical. The world of an INTJ is one filled with strategy and logic. They are the masterminds who intricately plan out their steps, aiming to achieve their goals with the utmost efficiency. When faced with a problem, they don't merely react. Instead, they dissect it, analyze it, and approach it with a carefully thought-out strategy. Their minds are always working, always planning, always looking at the overall picture. INTJs are not impulsive. They think before they act. And when they do act, it's with a clear purpose in mind. They value logic highly, and their decisions are always based on rational thought. They don't let emotions cloud their judgment. Instead, they rely on their analytical skills, their understanding of systems and patterns, and their ability to think critically. If you're a strategic thinker who values logic, then you might just be an INTJ.